Hey there, Andrea Olson with the Good Diaper Free Podcast. I'm about to record episode number 92, Simplicity Parenting in EC. So enjoy, let's do this. Welcome to the Good Diaper Free Podcast, where we're all about helping you stop depending on diapers as early as birth. I'm your host, Andrea Olson, author and mom of 5 babies, all EC'd from birth, all out of diapers by walking. This is episode 92, Simplicity Parenting and EC. The secret to a slower, more meaningful foundation for your potty practice and your life. And I just want to mention, it's not only for people who do EC. This is also for those of you doing potty training early or late or somewhere in the middle. Simplicity parenting can only improve your parenting relationship no matter the age of your baby or babies, okay? You can read the written version of today's show over at godiaperfree.com/92. I'm going to also conveniently link to all the things I mentioned in today's episode over there, and I will be replying to comments over there, so come on by when you're finished. So today we're going to talk about the lessons I've learned from one of my favorite books of all time, Simplicity Parenting by Kim John Payne, and how his advice can create just a slower, more meaningful foundation for your EC practice with that sweet little baby, or even your potty training experience with your toddler. When I had my first child, Kim's book had just been published, lucky for me, and I ate it right up. The book shared all the things I needed to hear at that time to create the family rhythms, the calm space, and the focused connection that I really knew in my heart that I wanted, but I didn't know quite how to build. It also helped me to keep the brand new, newly released iPhone that I got out of my hands and my focus on my newborn baby. This was in 2010, so literally had just recently hit the market. This book helped me push back against the toy creep that has threatened our family for almost 10 years. You know how those toys just sort of creep into your household and you don't know where all of them came from? Man, I owe Kim a giant thank you for writing this book. Please pick up a copy. I'm going to link to it in the show notes because it's amazing. And I was thinking about it the other day about how this book informed my journey as a new mama, and I wanted to share those secrets with you today, especially how they relate to infant pottying. The subtitle of his book is Using the Extraordinary Power of Less to Raise Calmer, Happier, and More Secure Kids. If that's what you want too, let's dive in. So why would we want to simplify our lives in the first place, Andrea? Let's talk about the core reason that we parents should simplify our lives. The thing is, yeah, it makes sense. Simplify, let's do it, okay. But in reality, we need to look at the underlying reasons, square in the face, to really implement what's in his book and not let it slide in between the cracks. So basically, we aren't doing a great job of working with the pace of childhood, you guys. We become parents and we continue as we did before babies at the breaknecking pace, as Dr. Seuss would say, leading our day-to-day lives in a, to quote Payne, media-rich, multitasking, complex, information-overloaded, time-pressured way. So we are out of alignment, and if you are also feeling swept away by the pace of a very rapidly moving life, it may have detrimental effects on your EC practice too, and potty training if you're doing that. So if you're rushing through life, it makes sense that EC will feel rushed too. We'll talk more about how this affects EC in a sec, but let that sink in. And also I want to tell you that this podcast is about EC, so I'm going to keep talking about it just as EC, but just remember you can apply this to potty learning at any age. So Kim argues that we can protect our children's childhoods in many basic ways, which I'm going to overview today. But the main basis is this. We need to protect their childhoods from adult life and concerns, make space for free play, and make space for their natural development rhythms to truly prosper. We are all for an unrushed childhood over here in my house, and at the same time, all of my 5 kids have gotten out of diapers at walking. Many may say that this doesn't add up. But it does. If you missed my episode on the natural laws of development, definitely check it out. I'll link to it in the show notes. It will tell you very clearly that the 12 to 18 month range is the actual natural period for wrapping up the potty independence task. Starting and finishing potty learning at this time is actually key and in alignment with their natural development. And that doing so in this time window could actually enhance a child's development. And I've seen it with my own kids and with hundreds of thousands of people in our community. This is not the same thing as rushing. It is honoring the natural flow of things, which Payne's book is all about. So, Andrea, what can we do? I'm a doer. I'm a finisher. I like to do things. I'm a quadruple Virgo. I like to implement, okay, I learned all this great stuff. Now, what do I do about it? The great thing about Kim's book is that he talks about exactly things that you can do to implement this kind of lifestyle. And what does this have to do with EC? Let's talk about this. So the next thing I found valuable is the actionable nature of this book. As I just said, Kim says we can simplify on 4 levels. Number 1, environment. Number 2, rhythm. Number 3, schedules. And number 4, filtering out the adult world. Addressing these 4 areas creates a calm environment. And Kim says, quote, behavioral tendencies can be soothed or relaxed by creating calm, end quote. So if you want your baby to be relaxed and therefore easier to EC, create calm. I wrote my own notes in pencil back in 2010 in the margins of each chapter, so I'm going to share them with you here, and maybe they'll help you see how to take action. Again, please read his book if this inspires you. Every one of these things that I'm about to list will make EC or potty learning easier for you because a calmer, more focused, less hyper, less helicoptery environment will serve as a solid foundation for everything you're accomplishing together. Each of them truly limit stress in the environment and make every single part of parenting easier, and we like easy. So the first of these 4 is environment. And let's talk about elimination communication to do with what he says in the book. So in chapter 3 of Simplicity Parenting, I took the following notes. Number 1, limit or omit choices. And you can look at the book to see why, or if you have more questions or whatever, these are just my notes. Limit or omit choices. Number 2, half the number of toys you have, then half them again, put some in a toy library in the closet, then half them again. You guys, this one thing is life-changing, let me tell you. Number 3, only leave out as many toys as the child can clean up on their own. And you don't have to write all this down. Just go to the show notes at gooddiaperfree.com/92, and it's all written there. You can print it up. Only leave out as many as they can clean up on their own. Number 4, make sure you leave out one of each type of toy that Payne suggests. He has certain categories. Number 5, toys that encourage open-ended play like blocks are best versus fixed toys such as a leapfrog pad that only does one thing. Number 6, allow the child to draw, build, play, and move. And we want to set up the space to inspire this. That's sort of the Montessori root of it all. Number 7, leave only 1 or 2 books out, less than 12 on a shelf nearby, and the rest hidden or stored in a book library in the closet. I know this one's hard, but if there are too many things out there, they will never value and go deep with one book. Number 8, ask yourself of every book or toy, do they lead to positive play? Number 9, for clothing, only keep out those that fit now and match the current weather. Store the rest or give to someone else. Leave very little choices because choices create stress and power struggle. Number 10, use candlelight once a day and more during winter. Number 11, to mitigate harsh sound, use a rug or carpet and perhaps hang a cloth on the ceiling, maybe. If there's a lot of echo, he talks about adjusting the noise levels in your house. Number 12, no chemical or artificial smells. This is definitely something we do in my house. Number 13, be sure to make space for social interaction, movement, music, art, and being outdoors. So as for EC, you guys, setting up your potty space with all the things your baby needs, but nothing more, just the minimum, simple and limited items, chemical-free, clutter-free, child height, child-friendly, all of that will help your child feel safe and happy in their potty space and more willing to cooperate. Also, just reducing the number of toys and books everywhere will stop with the overwhelm and distraction for your child, and they'll actually be able to focus on simple things like the whole potty routine at the appropriate time. Second part of his 4-part system here is rhythms. Rhythms in EC. This one is great. The second sphere that he talks about is establishing rhythms. Quote, rhythms establish a foundation of cooperation and connection. We want those things, right? Next quote, rhythm calms and secures children, grounding them in the earth of family so they can branch out and grow. End quote. That's beautiful. And the next quote, parental authority is strengthened by rhythms, and authority is established that is gentle and understandable. This is what we do also says, there is order here and safety. End quote. If you've known me long, you'll know that I often suggest doing EC with a matter-of-fact tone to everything. Unemotional, simple, short-winded, if you even talk much about it at all. This is what we do is a great way to normalize that potty time is now just part of your everyday life. Additionally, if we're using the 4 easy catches and doing EC with our babies, we're typically inserting potty time during transitions throughout the day, right? So this makes things predictable and, as Payne says, safe. The child can really relax into this and create a space of calm. Parents also benefit from having a rhythm. This is what's in it for you. I often joke to first-time parents to pretend like they have 5 children like I do, so they're forced to create a rhythm to their day, and often that makes potty time a lot more sensible at certain transitions. Like, hey, there are actual transitions that we can potty in between, not just something that mommy's decided it's potty time or daddy. And this truly helps at-home EC move from a disaster to a major success. Here's another quote from Kim. Rhythm carves the necessary channels for discipline, making it more intrinsic than imposed. Where well-established rhythms exist, there is much less parental verbiage, less effort, and fewer problems around transitions. End quote. In other words, you have a more cooperative child. This is for those young toddlers, those babies who are just starting to show some semblance of, hey, I am my own person, and especially the older toddlers. So this is key, y'all. When you use the 4 easy catches in those transition times to ground your EC practice, you're actually making your job easier. As your baby turns into a young toddler, when you pick a nap time, a bedtime, snack, and lunch times, you are actually helping your child feel calm and safe, making it easier to understand when they need to go potty, and making it less likely that they'll resist because this is simply what we do. Rhythms make children feel safe. And here's another quote from him. The rhythms of family life provide consistency. The best ones also offer connection. End quote. So 100% of people who've done EC in our Go Diaper Free community, with or without my book, tell me that EC has offered a deeper connection with their babies 100% of the time. EC is totally connective because it is based on rhythms. And if you and that's the rhythm of your family, the rhythm of your child's movements inside, all of that. And if you focus on creating rhythms to your days and weeks, even and especially with a newborn baby, you will see how nicely every other thing, including EC, falls into place. Rhythms are the opposite of forced and unnatural scheduling. They are creating a framework for your days and weeks within which to live, breathe, improvise, and raise babies. So I'm going to move on here. This gets me so pumped. I start talking all fast and all nose gets itchy, all this stuff. I just get so excited about it. Let's move on to schedules. This is number 3 or 4. Schedules and EC. I know we're dealing with mostly babies here, but I've got to say it. You need to be prepared now for what's coming. Take it from me with 5 kiddos over an 8-year span. You need to be prepared for what's coming. Shoot, it may have already begun in your child's life, and you might be like, oh my gosh, my child is totally a toddler now. Here's a quote from Kim. Too many scheduled activities may limit a child's ability to motivate and direct themselves. And that's it in a nutshell, you guys. Another quote from him. This time, this afternoon, this child could be enriched. That's it, enrichment. As parents, we've discovered fertilizer and we're applying it by the ton to childhood. End quote. Payne explains that, quote, rest nurtures creativity, which nurtures activity. Activity nurtures rest, which sustains creativity, end quote. It is a beautiful feedback loop. Since I read this with baby number 1, I have been fortunate to follow Kim's advice for all 5 of my babies. Free play is nothing to worry about. It's not that we're failing. We're not just being lazy. It is, in fact, the name of the game. The be-all, end-all, the solution to all woes. Just let them play and never make a happy baby happy. So here are my notes on this chapter of his book. Again, you can see these on the show notes. Go to diaperfree.com/92. In case 1, you're like, what? Wait, what did she just say? Number 1, notice deep play and do not interrupt. I would just say if you see a potty signal, interrupt to go to the bathroom, because would you interrupt your work or play to go to the bathroom? Yes, right? But notice deep play and don't interrupt. And in fact, before deep play has an opportunity to happen, offer a potty-tunity so they're comfortable throughout that. Number 2, activity and interaction are essential to Imbalance. Number 3, leisure time is priceless. Number 4, play does not equal play dates and scheduled activities. Number 5, we are not entertainment, we parents. We don't fail if our children are bored. Outbore their boredom. Number 6, and in this, you give them space to find themselves and their world, their likes, and their passions. Boredom is good, you guys. Number 7, the A+C balance. Activity days and calming days. We want to have a balance between activity days and calming days. Number 8, newsflash, sports or karate 2 times a week is too much for a child that is less than 10 years old. Number 9, the park, the playground, free play with a benign parental presence, an uninterrupting parental presence, unless it's potty time, of course, is better than driving to all these organized events. Number 10, early childhood play stages, the play stages include solitary play, parallel play, and let's pretend. At number 11, at 9 to 10 years old, they are finally ready to learn how to play a game, games with others, sports. Number 12, give ordinary experiences and encouragement. Talents will emerge naturally on their own. In other words, they don't need to be in a dance class for them to discover that they love dance. Number 13, ordinary days are good. Rainbow days and constant overdoing it to please our kids leads to entitlement and addiction even. Life does not hinge on high notes, so stop it with all the rainbow days already. Ordinary days are good, and they're actually going to keep your kid from becoming entitled and addicted to this never-ending cycle of I want an amazing experience every single moment of every day. Number 14, if we burn out our kids by overscheduling their childhoods, by the time they're teens, they won't want to engage and will miss out. Teens need sports, drama, community service to balance the strong turn inward, so we don't want to burn them out before that opportunity arises. Number 15, start by balancing schedules. Just get some balance. I like to cancel everything every once in a while, like for the whole week, and just see what happens. Number 16, build anticipation. Fewer, more meaningful events spaced out. Delayed gratification can only build inner strength. And then we want to have, number 17, have Sabbath moments where there are no phones, no computers, no schedules. And we want to have these regularly. Number 18, last one, we want to gently insist on and model the importance of downtime and balance in day-to-day life. And keyword here, you guys, is modeling it. Model it. So what does this have to do with EC, you guys? What does this scheduling stuff have to do with EC? Well, if you are struggling to make catches, you have tons of misses, you're encountering a lot of misses at home, try simplifying your life. And this can be at home or out. Try simplifying your life. I'm just adding little notes here as I talk. Simplify your schedule, okay? Start basic at-home rhythms to your day, like in part 2. Have restful, quiet time mixed with creative time. And put on the brakes if you haven't already. This combined with decluttering your child's stuff and what we're about to address regarding screens will make things much easier to grasp, will make EC so much easier. So simplify. And the fourth one, filtering out the adult world and elimination communication. So this part is all about putting in filters so our babies don't get overwhelmed with adult information, concerns, and pressure. Worry is the key word. First and foremost, we do that by limiting screens. If you have a 0 to 2-year-old, of course, what is it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. American Psychological, no, the people who tell us how to raise our toddlers, they say don't do screen time before 2 years old. But hey, this includes phones, right? Television, computers, video games, handheld devices, iPads, smartphones, all of that. If you're gasping that I suggested limiting the smartphone or iPad, I highly recommend listening to or reading the book, How to Break Up with Your iPhone or with Your Phone, How to Break Up with Your Phone, or the one called Digital Minimalism. And I've linked to both of those in the show notes. With babies, we are already modeling how it is to be in the world. So if you're glued to your phone, they soon will be too. And then that precious childhood we're trying to protect has vanished, poof, into thin air. Screens also impact concentration. They interfere with children conjuring their own imaginary worlds, which is very valuable. But not to get all anti-tech here, I would like to say that any tool can be helpful when it's age appropriate. And this baby and toddler phase is unfortunately not that time. Okay, that said, let's move on to how we can stop being bad parents and prevent potty pauses. I say that with some tough love, but seriously, these are some things to definitely look at. There are 4 types of parents that Payne considers the helicoptering kind. If you notice that one of these is you, don't be mad at yourself. You don't need to tell anybody, but just maybe make some tweaks if you feel inspired. These helicoptering kind are called over-involved parents, he calls them. And yes, these types of parents totally love their kids, absolutely no question asked. But they are also smothering their children's independence and causing stress and worry that they don't need to bring into the child's life. Obviously unintentionally, right? With EC, we are supporting our children's early independence in the realm of pottying, which extends to so many other areas. Being an over-involved parent is counterproductive to what we're doing with practicing EC. I'm also sharing this part because you may know that 95% of potty pauses, in my estimation, are caused by over-offering. This might shed some light on who you are as a parent and how you can shift to give more space to your child without stopping EC altogether and without completely disengaging from your child. It's like a rebalancing of things that many of us need, myself included. So, of the 4, number 1, sportscasters. These parents telecast everything the child touches, does, is wearing, or even what they may be thinking. If this is you, stop it right now, please. Somebody in my mommy yoga class back 10 years ago told me that she was told to do this, and she narrated her child's entire existence. It was so annoying for me. I can't even imagine for the child. And yes, I am being judgmental here, but gosh, please, this is not helpful, and we'll talk about why. Number 2, corporate parents. These parents try to get kids excited about their own packaging, about their profile, and their advantages over other kids. Number 3, little buddy parents. These parents expend a lot of energy, words, and time to avoid hearing the word no from their child. I used to be this. They are lonely and seeking an equal friendship with their babies. They themselves may want to be children again. They will morph into the best friend parent when the child grows up. And number 4, clown parents. These are the entertainers. They believe that childhood, in fact, needs to be larger than life, a sort of ever-expanding carnival of delights. This often leads to exhaustion and disappointment for the child and parent. Disappointment in that that's not how life really is, and it could be very depressing to come off of that carousel and step into real life later on. An antidote to this type of parenting, you guys, all 4 of these, especially if this is you, which is totally fine, no judgment here, is to stop talking so darn much. That's the antidote. When we say less, we notice more. The more you say, Kim says, the less you are listening. If EC is about tuning in and listening for signs, signals, and information, then we should definitely talk less, you guys. Quote, when we talk over and under and around a child, when we talk too much, there's less space for their thoughts or for what they have to say, including signals. This is so true. So, can you take in the fact that your child just went on the potty successfully and really experience it without saying a word? That's my challenge for you. Quote, to be a parent is to have one's attention split several ways in any given situation, and we try to bridge our fractured focus with words, end quote. Next quote, in a noisy world, quiet attentiveness speaks louder than words, end quote. So when ECing my baby, I've often said absolutely nothing as we go on with our day-to-day lives. I act matter-of-factly, with as much confidence and relaxed attitude as possible. And I simply don't say anything unless I'm introducing something for the first time or giving a word to something. And with that, I only say it once. If I'm reinforcing something or teaching the words for something like a signal they can use in the future, pati, I say it only when we're doing the activity, when they're actually going. So this is essential, you guys. It is your calm and consistent manner, more than your words, that speak to your children. I've edited Payne's words there. It's so beautiful how he says that. It is your calm and consistent manner, more than your words, that speak to your children. Quote, just as it's hard to cherish a toy lost in the middle of a mountain of playthings, when we say less, our words mean more, end quote. The other thing is feelings. This last part we'll go over. Emotional monitoring, Kim calls it. Kim suggests don't talk too much to kids 9 or younger about their feelings. And don't be alarmed, you guys. When a child feels something before the age of 9 years old, they don't have the desire to discuss it. It's not developmentally appropriate to discuss their feelings. What they do is they want to do something physically that will resolve that feeling. That's how they work through feelings. They do something. They get a hug. They find the cat. They grab the fork themselves, etc. So us trying to teach emotional intelligence at an age where it does not jive with natural development is rushing things. If you want to read more about that, because I realize that is a bit controversial, definitely pick up his book and you will be enlightened. So you guys, what do we do now? All right. If this little dip into the world of simplicity parenting has piqued your curiosity, please order a copy and listen to it or read it today. Again, see the written version of this podcast over at godiaperfree.com/92. And while you're over there, let's take some of Kim's advice. At the very end of his book, he asks, is there a step in the process of simplification that seems absolutely doable, something you know is possible now in your own home? And my suggestion would be, hey, start with the toys. Try something today. Start with just, I always like to start with the kitchen drawer when I'm doing my own decluttering. Start with one drawer of their toys in their room. Or just dump them all out in the middle of the floor and start dividing them by half. Check out his book. He'll tell you exactly how to do it. But whatever you choose, I want you to answer that question over in the comments, and I'll look forward to seeing you there. Till next time, when we're going to talk about how EC normalizes your baby's behavior with the instruction from Maria Montessori's work. I will see you then. Until then, happy pottying, you guys. I'm Andrea Olson, and you have been listening to the Go Diaper Free podcast at godiaperfree.com. I'll see you next time. There you have it. Ta-da! Okay, so subscribe, hit the bell. I would love to tell you when the next video is up. I'm going to be posting some other videos pretty soon here as we get things squared away between Instagram and starting IGTV, which is exciting, and Facebook, and then here on this YouTube channel. So you will see some things being posted over the next few weeks. In the meanwhile, if that hasn't already happened, it probably will by the time you see this, please comment below with what one thing you're going to simplify. All right? Take care. Thanks, guys.